Good morning.
Welcome to the morning show.
Yeah.
The Big Show with Glenn and Angel on Kiss 92.
Good morning.
Sometimes getting out of bed in the morning is a lot to deal with all at once.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to the biggest and best breakfast show in the world. It is Thursday's edition. Happy at Work Thursday, and we have our career agility gurus, Yen as well as Adrian in the studio. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Happy anniversary to us.
As in friendship.
Yeah, a friendship. Happy.
Just in case people think we've been here on Kiss 92 for 5 years.
No. We've been talking to Yen and Adrian for 5 years with Happy at Work Thursday. So happy friendship anniversary.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's been an amazing 5 years. I couldn't believe it when Facebook actually reminded me that, hey, this photo was taken 5 years ago, and I went, wow, how time flies.
Isn't that funny? Facebook had to tell you that.
Yeah, because it's my wedding anniversary. I depend on Facebook as well. So.
Yeah.
You see, time flies. That in itself is a lesson. So make sure you make the best time out of everything and be happy.
And the best decisions.
Yes.
Present. So speaking of decisions, today we're talking about decisions to be made, right?
Yeah, it came out from an interesting article on the Straits Times Ask ST column, and someone asked, is it better to work for a big company or a small one? An SME or an MNC? And they are both sides of the coin, the pluses, minuses. And I thought it might be interesting for us today to share whether or not which one's better and how you should frame your decision when you're making a choice as to what companies to work for.
Okay.
I feel like Adrian's going to ask us right now. Okay, let's go around the room.
What do you think?
SME or MNC?
Yeah, so you read my mind.
Glenn gets to go first.
Glenn.
MNC.
Yeah,
MNC.
that was quick.
I love everything big.
Yeah, that's true as well.
And I was once taught an answer to a question that would be complicated. The answer is, it depends.
Oh, okay.
It is true, though.
It depends.
It is true.
How about yourself?
It depends.
It depends.
See, that's like sitting on the fence.
No, but it kind of
That's like FD, always sitting on the fence. That's why you got kicked out.
I'm going to say, stop it. I'm going to say MNC because I work for one now. And then I'm going to say SME because I run one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you
so
run
it
one.
really
We're talking about working for one.
Okay, working for one.
Straight away, you want to talk about running things. Huh?
MNC. Because I'm here at one.
How about the ladies?
Cheyenne?
Does size matter?
It depends.
I'm gonna say for myself now and MNC because I feel like there's more for me to learn, and I've worked at like a smaller company, and I feel like it'll be better later on when I'm more experienced. Yeah. I enjoy my experience now working at a bigger company than a smaller one.
Good point.
Shalini. Susan?
I would say MNC because it feels more stable. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you have it.
Everyone wants to work for an MNC.
MNC. Deeper pockets, more stability.
Okay, let's continue to talk about this on the Big Show TV, okay? Meantime, here's Katy Perry featuring Doechii. I'm his, he's mine on Kiss 92.
Okay.
Yen, how about yourself? MNC or SME?
It depends. That's what I said. It depends.
Okay.
It really depends.
Gut feel.
Okay,
it depends on what?
It depends on career stage. It depends on your career strategy. It depends on whether or not those opportunities even presented themselves. It depends. So just because you want to work for company A doesn't mean that it's going to happen right now. And maybe
But we're talking about right now, right? So right now?
Yeah. So today, I would work for an SME.
Okay.
Just
because we're
to be
talking about today, right?
Just going to be contrarian about it.
Adrian,
because
what
Adrian
about
told
you?
me to disagree with him today.
All right. So Adrian?
Today only?
Yeah, I disagree with you all the time.
I agree with Yen when she says depends on your stage. Typically, it's whether or not you're in later season of your life or whether it's an early stage of your career. For me, once again, it depends, but I think it depends on the stage. For me right now, yes, I would not work for an MNC because I think I've had enough of those corporate shenanigans. It's not like all the office politics,
Politics,
and everything.
gossip,
Not to
yeah.
say there isn't any politics in SMEs, but the bureaucracy, the framework, the forms you need to fill, it will kill me. It has killed me, and it will kill me on the inside. So
Okay.
I wouldn't do an MNC now.
Yeah, but what about what the girls mentioned, stability? Is it always true that working for a bigger company has more stability than a small company?
No, not true.
Back to differ.
Because I
Yeah,
mean, because
yeah.
those are your feelings, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you can help. You can control those feelings. It's
Yeah.
just that you don't want to.
Yeah.
But in terms of stability, isn't a bigger company a little bit an established bigger company a bit more stable than a smaller one?
So one of the things we advise our clients is that when you make a decision to join an organization, you look at its sustainability, its revenue. Does it look
Its
like
track
it's got
record.
does it look like it has a good solution or a product? And it doesn't mean that it's stable just because it's present and it doesn't as an entity. Internally, a lot of restructuring, and a lot of our clients who work for MNCs are going through so much stress waiting for the other shoe to drop because departments get eaten, departments get broken,
Yeah. People get laid off.
People get laid off. It's easier to lay off people because
There's so many around.
of
It's so
them.
Yeah, that's
unfortunate,
true.
Unfortunate. And I want to clarify something for all our listeners out there. No job is stable, no matter where you're SME or MNC. But you're right in a sense. If you define SME being, especially in a startup, I think that's of a higher risk.
How do you define an SME? Is it X amount of employees under a certain amount kind of thing?
The official definition, if I'm not mistaken, is 500 employees.
500 is an SME.
Yeah, below
Wow,
500 is
that sounds like
SME.
okay. And an MNC
Small,
is
okay, because
anything-
SME stands for small, medium,
Medium
enterprise. So I think
enterprise,
the 500 range should be the medium part of it.
Yeah.
The
Right.
one-man show at the small part of it,
Small,
I think.
yeah.
So there's a range.
Yeah.
But if you're more than 500, it's like what's the difference between a hill? Okay, geography lesson. What's the difference between a hill and something higher than a hill? It's a 500 meter. Apparently, if it's anything below 500 meter, it's called a hill. Anything else we call like a mountain or something else. I
Okay.
have no idea. Something like that.
So Bukit Timah is not higher than 500 meters.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
what you're saying.
think so.
And
It's
Mount
just, it's just
Faber.
a bukit.
Mount,
Mount
yeah.
Faber might
Definitely
be above. I don't
above.
know.
I think
don't
so.
know. Or maybe it's just historical, but it's useless information for the day.
And
But-
then an MNC is anything above that, but they have to have different
Multi-
offices as well
Yeah.
because
So-
it's multinational.
So an SME can be can be a multinational corporation as well. If you think about
On
it,
a
They
smaller
got-
scale,
yeah.
right?
Multinational small enterprise.
medium enterprise.
I'm so confused. But I think it's once again no jobs are stable. So it's all does not guarantee joining a big company does not guarantee stability, but there are perks with the big company. Obviously, the pantry for one, it's going to be very nice. Okay, usually it's very well stocked, and they usually have better salary packages because they are better funded and
Benefits as well.
Benefits as well. They're more established. SMEs, on the other hand, have a reputation for lower budgets because they're small.
Free coffee.
Right.
That's it.
3 in 1.
Free Nescafe
3
Gold.
in 1. Yeah.
Or
If you're lucky.
if they end up paying you, they'll be watching you like a hawk to make sure that they're getting their money's worth. And sometimes that can be micromanaging.
I think it depends also on who you get as staff. You know what I mean? It's all about trust, right? If you have people that you know can do the job and are good at it, then you don't need to micromanage. I think the micromanaging comes in when you distrust or are unsure about someone's capabilities. That's how I feel.
I think micromanaging's everywhere. It doesn't matter that it's a small or a large company. In a large organization, the playground is a little bit bigger. So maybe there's more diffusion when it comes to toxicity, the corporate hypocrisy, the professional hypocrisy, the pretending to be friends but actually we're not. But that's not to say that small enterprises don't have that either. So I think it's one of those things that it really depends. And if you are a job seeker and you are making a decision whether or not to accept an offer, figure out what's important to you and then make sure you find out what the values are, what the culture's like.
Okay.
Career agility, there should be another module, which is playing politics. How to play politics. how to,
wow.
How
to
yeah,
How to
Right.
maneuver in, the
because really
politics.
for people who don't know, it's hard for them. There's some people who can and some people who can't. Okay.
Yeah.
Traffic update.
92 traffic.
On the TPE towards the PIE, after the KPE exit, look out for an accident causing a backup all the way to Pongal Road. Avoid lane 3. On Hougang Avenue 3 towards Bartley Road East, another accident after Defu Avenue 1. Avoid the right lane. Wherever you are this morning, stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guests for today from Korea Agility International, Adrian Chu as well as Yen. If you would like to get in touch with them, it's info@koreaagility.org.
So we have Moll on Facebook, and she says, I started with an SME, switched to an MNC, and have never gone back for the compensation and benefits as well as bigger budget and advanced tech. But now that I've empty nested and have more time, I feel I don't mind working for a startup and taking on challenges of multitasking.
And that's quite true, because in an SME, you are usually given a broader range of tasks to do. Because
There's less money.
There's less money and there are fewer people, so they make you do a lot more. But the upside to it is you get a lot of exposure. So if you're starting out your career, one of the upsides about joining an SME possibly could be that you're getting more things done rather than a very siloed structure in MNC. The downside to it, however, is that for me, I'm quite biased. I always believe that you should start in an MNC and then see where it goes, because you start from the understanding the top systems and processes rather than going into an SME and trying to climb your way uphill after that.
Well, someone said that the good thing about MNCs is that you have the ability to progress.
Yeah, there's more space.
There's more
definitely
movement.
more space and more movement and more structure. So while Adrian doesn't like the structure, which is the bureaucracy or the administration, but because they've got frameworks and they've got talent programs and they've got a fully well thought out HR program that enables young people to go for training and learn more things, and they probably have access to all these resources, which is great. And at the same time, I agree with Adrian on that. Okay, sorry, I didn't disagree with you, because if you're starting out and you go to an MNC, you do learn a little bit more, even if you are sort of siloed. You do get a chance to interact with more people.
Okay. So pros and cons to everything.
But I'm going to say something really controversial, okay? SMEs, a lot of times the difficulty is not just in the organization, it's in the bosses. Because a lot of time SME owner is run by the owner.
Yeah.
And if the owner is your typical Asian boss, he wants to control everything, he wants to run everything. He may not be so easy with the money because it's his money.
Yeah.
So when it comes to bonus time and everything, you may not get it. But that's something which I never quite liked. It's very, even though the people say that MNCs may be bureaucratic, I think sometimes the SMEs with their culture of control. And one of the worst things that I've noticed is that when it's a family-run business, the CEO is the owner, his wife is the COO.
The son handles the accounts.
And the sister-in-law runs operations. And then suddenly you're in there, it's like, okay.
As an outsider, right?
Yeah. And if your surname doesn't match the surname on the company, on the big brand outside, then it's like,
You have no say in anything.
Outsider.
Are you a family member? No. Okay. Well, sit down and shut up.
You're writing a drama series. you're creating drama where there
isn't any, right?
Because I personally know a lot of family-owned businesses that are hiring professional CEOs.
Yes.
And they realize that they do have blind spots. And so if an organization does that, I think they're quite safe to join.
Yeah, these are the wiser ones lah. But I agree with Adrian. I know a number of other companies who are just they just keep really close, just among themselves, brothers and sisters, running the company, and not really good. Not good at all. Okay, let's continue to talk about this on The Big Show TV. It is 8:18.
Kiss 92 Time Check, brought to you by...
Okay.
Okay, Winston has said big companies you're often just a number unless you sit at higher up on the corporate ladder, and at the top there's lots of politics, and as Yen said, it's constantly morphing.
I hear you. It's not all that bad, really. It's not all that bad, because in larger organizations, we can coach you on visibility strategies. And that's one of the things we work on constantly, because people don't realize that just hunkering down, that old saying, do a good job, it's okay, stay quiet, be modest, stay humble. don't bark too much. People will notice your good work. No. No. you want to do a good job, but then you also need to know how to do the right things at the right time in front of the right people.
Yeah.
Apple on the boss's desk every day.
And that one, that one
mean the
needs to be
teacher?
taught. No, sometimes it needs to be taught.
yeah, because it doesn't come naturally for people.
It doesn't.
You know,
And sometimes they don't even know what they've done wrong. You know, when
Yeah.
it comes to a point where you are already in trouble with, let's say, your superiors or
Yeah.
whatever, and you're being marked, let's say, it's too late already.
That sounds like something happened to you in NS.
No, man. But I have many people I've worked with who have been in that situation, and they have no clue what they've done.
So
but
what should
everyone
people
else
do?
who's looking at these
know.
people, they know.
So
what-
there's some unspoken rule that was broken.
Yes.
And he didn't realize.
Yes.
He just walked right into the mine and it went kaboom.
So how does someone come out of that mine? They're already scathed, obviously.
Yeah.
How do they come out and repair that relationship?
Reach out to us at info@careeragility.org.
Nice. Okay.
Because it's a complex answer.
yeah.
Right, it depends on what's transpired. Do you have friends? Do you have sponsors? If you have no friends on the playground, it's going to
Yeah.
be challenging. And you might be the easy excuse
Target.
for everyone. Everyone's just going to say, okay, let's get rid of that one, and we get a bit more safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but reach out to us. We've helped many people who have faced career crisis.
WhatsApp message. Okay.
I think there are too many people who feel like they're really smart. And unfortunately, like smarter than their bosses even.
Oh, yes.
And they don't hide the fact that they feel that way. And I think that is like digging your grave.
Yes.
Right there. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's
Yes,
true.
that's
You know,
very true.
you need to be respectful no matter
Yeah.
what.
No,
right?
there's
When
this-
you get there one day, then it'll be your vision.
yes.
You know?
There's this old classic book, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. You know, it's a very famous book.
Yes.
His first law of power is basically, he talks about how power works and how not to
Yeah.
piss off, how to survive in a corporate environment. And his first law is basically never outshine the master.
Right?
Yeah, so don't
Why would anyone
don't
want
show
to?
up your boss, you know,
Yeah.
boss. I once attended this meeting, you know, and the boss was doing a presentation and his staff said, that's not right.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You see?
That's career limiting.
Yeah, in
It's
front of
like- it's
others-
like, why
others-
would
there were
you?
Other departments there, you know, and he pointed out his own boss's mistake, and I was like, bye. Why would you, right?
Why would you?
But some people are just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sit down
Yeah.
and shut up. That's all you need to do.
Just sit through that and then
Just
move
shut. No
on.
one's
It's like
spotted
you
the
wonder sometimes. Over the years, I look at some of these, you know, people, and I just go like, what was that about?
Yeah.
Is that even natural that
Yeah.
that you feel this way and you're expressing it
And
openly?
the amazing level of stupidity in doing that, right? It's just singularly impressive.
You're allowed to feel that way.
Just don't
but I
say it
think-
out
But I
loud.
think in terms of mindset,
Yeah.
because your thoughts determine your behavior and your attitude and what shows on your face. That's really
Yeah.
really important. So I've spoken to a lot of individuals and I've helped them to understand that even though your boss is incompetent technically, but he's very competent in other things
Yeah.
that you are not aware of. There are
Yeah.
so many things that you don't realize.
And
that
there's a
is
reason
going on.
he's there and you're not.
That's right, or not yet.
Not yet. That's
Yeah.
true. Kartik has said, morning all, this is a great topic. My vote is for youngsters to start with MNCs and progress to SMEs or other opportunities because I feel a big name on the CV is a very good thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great point.
That's a great point, Karthik.
Yeah. If you hear Adrian, he's always talking about Shell.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
he
true.
is.
the
He
first,
talks about
That
Shell
is true.
a lot.
That's true. But I also feel like as you were talking, start with an SME, get all that, groundwork kind of hard work, many hats kind of role, and then go to an MNC in between and then taper off with another SME like Maul was saying, to get
But
That-
wasn't
that-
it the other
that
way
could- that
around?
could
for-
work.
No, he likes MNC, but earlier when we were talking, yeah.
That could work. I want to caution though, because when I was headhunting, I've placed many individuals into large multicultural companies, and they found it very hard to adapt because they had so much autonomy and there's so much logic
From SME.
in an SME,
Right,
a smaller
okay.
organization.
To move, right,
And
okay.
I'm not even talking about a tiny company. I'm talking about a decently medium-sized organization. Maybe they're a little bit less rigid. They're more fluid
Nitpicky,
with a lot
yeah.
of things. And I placed them in a large tech company, And for 6 months, I was getting calls from this candidate like, no, I can't get it. I'm doing all this retail therapy. I'm so stressed. I don't like the bureaucracy. He felt very stressed. But after he got past that hump, it got better. And so there is a lot to say about cultural fit. And Adrian mentions like kidney rejections, right? Organ rejections. So if culturally you're landing in an organization, please come to us. Let us help you smoothen out that process. I mean, I'm not pushing our services.
And the challenge flows the other way as well. If you've been in an MNC
yes
for many years, and suddenly you go into SME, and suddenly you have to report to the sister-in-law of the boss.
Yeah.
Are we still writing that drama?
Yes, because it's based on a true story, and it's difficult. It's difficult. Suddenly you're so used to having your secretary book your flights for you. Suddenly
But
you gotta
everything is a learning curve, right?
It is. That's why you need to have that
change management.
that career agility to hop around, to be adaptable. Otherwise,
But chances are, I mean, the person is getting paid a lot more as well, right?
MNC?
You won't go from a multinational company to an SME and
true.
get paid less.
Because a lot of startups nowadays, what they do is they poach CEOs, MDs, and CEOs and what have you from big companies because they've got a crap ton of funding and they're paying you $50,000 a month to come and sit on my SME in my SME office and give us the advice that you've given for the MNCs, and it works.
Some of the time.
No, that's right, because sustainability funding doesn't last forever. So.
Okay, traffic update.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the AYE towards Tuas, right before the Jurong Town Hall exit, look out for an accident. Actually, the AYE is closed right before the Jurong Town Hall exit.
Oops.
So if you're heading down that stretch, try and find an alternative route. Also on the Bukatima Road towards the city, a vehicle's broken down after Newton Circus. Also a terrible spot. Avoid the right lane. Wherever you are, stay safe.
Welcome back to Happy at Work Thursday with Adrian Chu and Yen, and we've been talking about MNCs and SMEs and which one is better, which one would you choose, and why would someone who has been working in an MNC move to an SME. And I said, well, maybe it's the pay.
Or maybe the individual who made that decision decided he had it and he wants to do something more meaningful.
Which is what all SMEs are about.
Now, I want to throw a spanner in the works.
Okay.
Even as we're talking about whether or not to move into an SME or an MNC, there are SMEs that think they're MNCs and try to behave like MNCs and layer on unnecessary layers of bureaucracy and everything and structures which make it difficult to navigate. And then there are the MNCs whose boss thinks he's running an SME. So a lot of times these guys are like running a small little outpost, Singapore branch of the Belgium office or whatever it is. So it's an MNC but SME on the ground
because that regional office feels much smaller.
So you think you join this MNC with great perks, programs, and everything, great structures, and you go in and you see that the boss is like this local guy who's just running the show like as though it's his father's business.
Now, there are quite a few like that, right?
Quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is, do your research, make some decisions, have those conversations, and then
Make
jump
the
in.
decision.
Yeah, you don't jump in just because the brand name is there, unless it's
the pay,
unless it's a career strategy. In which case, it's okay for you to take on whatever, and don't worry about the size of the company, because it is a deliberate decision to perhaps use this as a stepping stone, or to be using that as an experience and a line item on your resume. That's okay.
Okay.
So I think it all boils down to your strategy.
I feel more and more people are just willing to jump ship these days.
I feel so as well. Yeah.
Sometimes even without thinking too much. right?
Or long enough. Yeah.
Unlike the good old days. But then again, I mean, that's something that you kind of encourage, Adrian. I mean, not thinking about it very much. No, of course, all things considered, right? But you don't believe that someone should stay in the same company for 20 years or more,
Yeah,
right?
if you're
We've
staying
spoken
in
about
the
this
same,
before.
yeah, if you're staying in the same role for too long, or even in the same role, but you keep jumping companies but doing the same role every time, the money might be more, but if it's just the same job, then it could hurt your career progression, it could hurt your employability as well.
Edwin wants to know at what age is a good time to progress to an SME from an MNC. Is
It
there a good
depends.
time? Yeah. Depends on where you are in your career.
How long is a piece of string?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no definite answer to it. I think when you're ready to, it has to be reasoned. What we always say for our listeners out there is this: leave for the right reason, join the right company for the right reasons. I mean, if you're just thinking about money, then
Is money not a right reason?
Yeah, isn't that what everyone thinks
What-
about?
Yeah.
What is behind that money though? What if you have to travel 98% and
Yeah.
you
It's
never see
okay
your
if you.
family?
It's okay
It's
if
okay
you
if
want
you're
to do
single.
that, right?
Or if you're asked to do things that might be borderline criminal for a very sexy like compensation
Like a
package.
laundry company.
You know, if you have again, right? You've got to figure out like what's in it. Maybe there's something else going on in the back that you don't realize.
But do you have to always be suspicious of a good offer?
yes.
I don't know. You know,
It depends, it depends.
I've been knocking Adrian all morning about writing drama serials. Yeah, you can imagine, right? Maybe there's a mafia thing going on at the background, some money laundering.
Wow.
We don't know, and sometimes some industries are a bit better.
Okay.
But make money first and then,
Then think
just-
later,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Okay, up next, something new from Joya Marlene. Difficult on Kiss 92.
This is brand new. Here's a tune.
Okay.
You know, if I were in an MNC and suddenly an SME wants to poach me over and wants to pay me more than what the MNC is paying me, I'll be very worried because suddenly I'm thinking, wow, the demands they're going to place on me, the sales targets they're going to put on me, the amount of work hours, it's just going to be scary because there's nothing for nothing. You're not going to get nothing for something.
Yeah,
There's
I
always
think
something
the
for
money
something.
is proportional to effort.
The
Stress,
Blood.
the
value.
responsibility. Yeah, because I can imagine, like we were saying, say you were an assistant VP at an MNC, but then you move over to an SME and you're the CEO, and all of a sudden you're wearing 20 hats.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're getting paid X amount, which looks great,
Yeah.
but then you're basically running the
Yes,
company,
that's
right? And trying to hit those targets.
And the buck stops with you. So you
Yeah.
have to be the PR person. You have to, everything, all the emotional energy as well.
And if you're up to it, I think that's fine. If it's once again like what Yan said, if it's part of your strategy, I want to go into a smaller place to get more exposure, then it's fine. It's when you're just looking at one single measure, which is your salary,
Yeah.
or just the job title looks bigger. I'll just go over there. That's when it gets tricky.
I have another question that I get a lot. Young people, first job. The next question they ask: if I join an MNC, how long do I need to stay before I can leave?
Well, I don't understand the mindset of like you go on a holiday, right? And then the people that you're traveling with, they're like, oh, and then we got to pack soon because we're leaving on Friday. I'm like, but we just got here. Like, why are you already thinking of leaving, right? So
I get that question a lot. Like, what would be a good length of time? So if I start out at an MNC,
Yeah.
for example, how long do I need to stay before it's kosher for me to move on?
Then what's the answer to that? It depends.
When
like
you
that.
feel like moving on, I say like when you feel like moving on.
It cannot be feel, right?
You can't have
It's
the
got to be
emotion.
I'm a
rational.
feel person.
Yeah.
You kind of like you can feel whether you're enjoying yourself, and I need to enjoy what I'm doing. I need to feel fulfilled, things like that. But the moment I feel empty, I know that's
Time to move on.
to move on.
Yeah, and so we were talking about long tenures in organizations. Is it okay to stay 20 years in the same company?
Right.
Earlier, we were talking
Yeah.
about that, right? So it is okay to stay 20 years in the same company as long as you have shown progress and that you have had more opportunities and that you've moved around internally into different areas. And so yes, when you start feeling empty, don't leave.
Yeah.
Look for something else within your organization so that you can build on what you already have.
So that's what
Just
you would
don't
say
throw it
to
away.
someone who asks you, when is it time to move on, but move within?
Yeah, move within the organization, especially if it's a large company. There are plenty of opportunities.
And if you still like it there,
Then
Well,
if you still like the
if you
culture,
still like the
yeah.
culture, because organizations evolve as well.
Yeah.
So I've had clients who tell us that, I've been in a company for just even 8 years, but it's not the same company which I joined. Because new leadership, new shareholders, sometimes you're being bought out by a bigger competitor. Suddenly it's no longer the same. And it's not fun anymore. Or the company decides to pivot into another product line or another strategy which you don't believe in. Then maybe that's possibly a time for you to move as well.
I'm
Okay.
very practical. You don't have to love the product.
Just love the paycheck.
You don't have to- I think we have to be practical about the reasons, and so don't make an impetuous decision. Don't be emotional about it. So if let's say you don't love the company anymore, the place is different. But if we change our mindset and look where there's mess, there's opportunity. You could put your hand up. You could step up. You could take control over a new incubation, a new idea, a new product, because new leaders would appreciate that you
New ideas, yeah.
have some initiative. And I mean, I'm just disagreeing with you.
Some
because
companies-
it's not always clear cut.
Some companies like initiative, some companies don't, right? Some companies
True.
would rather you not put your hand up and say,
Yeah.
hey, I think that can be done better. Some people don't appreciate
If it
that.
ain't broke,
Stay in your lane.
Yeah,
if it
exactly.
ain't broke, don't fix it.
But
Exactly.
just that I mentioned feel, right? And I think you felt like, okay, it shouldn't always be about just feel. Why do you feel that way?
Yeah, I see what you
What
did
do
there.
you feel that way?
Why are you so emotional about it?
I agree that intuition has a space, that it's your gut telling you that something's not quite right. You're off kilter, the equilibrium isn't quite great. So then you need to have your rational decision so that you do not end up with some blind spots and accidentally stepping on a mind that goes kaboom.
So do you let the heart lead or the head lead?
I
Or
think
both
they-
go
I think
together?
I think they work together, but when it comes to your career, I think the decisions have to be rational. And so if you are having a lot of feels, I think different perspectives will help you to rationalize. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of the storm, you can't see the forest for the trees.
So is it okay to be in that position although you're feeling extremely unhappy? Because I think there are a lot of people
You
who
gotta
are
talk to
tuned in
people.
right now who feel that way, right? They're
Yeah.
dragging themselves to work
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
and have been doing it
Yeah.
for like maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
There's something not quite right. They're
Yeah.
unhappy already, but
Yeah.
they're just staying there.
They need to find out what they're unhappy with.
They need to figure the trigger.
Yeah, and one of the ways they can do it is to use our online app, CoachCarol.ai. Basically, it helps to identify what you're unhappy with. And once again, shameless pitch. If you use Kiss92 FM as your promo code, you get $40 off. So CoachCarol.ai, if you use it, it will actually highlight what you're unhappy with the job with. Could be salary, could be the boss, could be the work. It could be so many
Everything.
things. It could be all of the above.
all of the
all of the above. And then that's time to move.
Because I feel sorry, right? I mean, you think about,
Yeah.
and I think there are more people than we actually think
Yeah.
who are really unhappy at work.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're really, really unhappy and you can't figure it out, please seek help. Sometimes it's good to talk it out. Sometimes it's good to get perspective. And then you kind of figure out whether or not those feelings have tangible reasons. Sometimes it's just a bad day. Maybe it's hormonal and maybe it's a thyroid condition.
Why'd you point to me for that? I don't have anything wrong with my thyroids.
Do I?
Because her voice is raspier today. That's right.
we go for traffic, and then after that, we've got a question from Celine Wong.
All right, it's Glenn and Thyroid Teo,
Hey, stop
everyone.
It's such a headache how you got me in knots, how you're up in my thoughts, sound like blah 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 blah.
Kiss 92 traffic.
It's just lots of peak hour traffic that you need to look out for. If you spot anything unusual, you can WhatsApp us 885550 920.
We're back on The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Happy at Work Thursday with Adrian Chu and Yen from Career Agility International.
So we've got a question from Celine Wong, who wrote in the comment section on our Big Show TV. She's asking, is it common after 3 years to have a job rotation? I'm reckoning she means within the company, right? Is that what it means?
It depends on the company's policy. A lot of times, some companies do it, some companies don't. Sometimes the company has that policy, but the individual doesn't want to do it. So it's normal. It's ideal if you do it in 3 years, because it takes about 1 year for you to figure out, to get good on the job. And then another 1 or 2 years to practice to get the results that you are putting in. And then after that, you can start thinking about the next move. But not all companies have that though.
I think we can change the question a little bit. It should be, is it okay for me to want to move every 3 years? Sometimes it's about permission as well. And if you do want it and the company doesn't have it, ask for it.
So do you ask for
I think you
it
can
at the
ask for it.
interview, or do you ask for it after 3 years?
Well, after 3 years.
After 3
What does
years.
this mean,
or
though?
after you've
Like-
done the KPIs and you're doing very well.
Moving within the company.
Yeah.
Oh, it's different
Departments and
all.
stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I think even here as well, there are some people that sometimes move from different departments, and that gives them the ability to learn about different things as well, right?
In a large MNC, this privilege is usually afforded to high potentials. So people who are groomed for management, and so it's
You're
good
right.
for them to go different departments so that they understand the inner workings. And so then by the time they get promoted into managerial level, they would have a better
Understanding
view
of how it
everything.
works.
This sounds like hotel management as well, where you need to
Yes.
to understand.
You need to rise the rank, even
Yeah.
in restaurants, right? You
Or
start from the
McDonald's, those type,
dishwashing
yeah.
to
Yeah.
waiting to
Yeah.
everything else, and then you know how it's run, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. We've run out of time. Before we leave, any last words, Adrian and Yen?
Well, I think if you're having a career conundrum right now and you're thinking, what do I do? Do I join an SME? Do I join MNC? What we always say is, no, leave your job for the right reasons. Stay in your job for the right reasons, and join a company for the right reasons as well. So what are the right reasons? Sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's factual, sometimes it's rational, but it helps to get a different perspective. So come talk to us. We're always able to put some ideas in your head that could help you in your decision making.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to us, info@careeragility.org. We'll help you with your career clarity, and it will help you with your career strategy.
Yeah. Feel more comfortable talking to a lady? Yen. Feel more comfortable talking to a guy? Adrian.
If you like AI, that's Coach Carol as well.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Thank you very much, Yen. Up next, Rosalind. This is Snap on Kiss 92.